Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Fire Team 788. This is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. This is meant to go with your HasLab Hiss tank, or if you maybe have a 3D printed Hiss and you want to fill it in, if you just want this cool colors, this 3-pack, this is available. I don't know if it's still available, to be honest. If not, I'm sure it will come back up. Anyway, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to look at these figures. We're going to compare their color scheme to the drivers over there, the tactician, and also compare these three figures to their classified really quickly. Now, it is a 3-pack, so it's going to run probably a little bit longer, but I would do my best to not drag it on too much. So anyway, we get this wonderful artwork that is definitely done in the stylized of the Hiss tank. I think it looks really nice. It is a big pack. Unfortunately, they packed it in a really big box. It's all dented up. But again, I'm going to open this up. Now, I'd rather not have dents. I mean, I like it to be nice and packaged up nicely. They use that brown stuff that goes around it. It was bouncing around. Oh, well, not too much that I can do about it. This is 110. So again, all these figures are considered 110. On the back, it does the same type of scheme that we get with the HasLab. So I think it looks really nice. It's a little bit different. It doesn't really give you the size, the height of the actual figure. But again, you see the weapons that they come with, and then you see all the blast effects and different things like that that they also come with. Again, 788 on the side, GH7 on the top. We got the same, what is it? I can't think of the name. I can't think of the term, not the name. The same slogan that the Hiss tanks are using, which is simple: Semper Fidelis Serpens. Now, I know some people got mad about it being Simplify, but I do believe this is something that was in the comic. Something to do with that. I could be wrong, but I believe this was already kind of done. They didn't make it up. It was already done. So anyway, let's get into this. But before we do, there's a couple things. Listen, if you've been following me on Instagram, I have a new Instagram. Unfortunately, someone put a copyright strike against a picture that I use, even though he steals stuff all day long. So the new Instagram is apunk_with_toys. So once you start typing in apunk, it's going to populate. If you try and check out A Punk with Toys or message me, it's not going to go through, unfortunately. But so check that out if you are on Instagram. And before we do get into it, listen, if you like the content that I'm giving you, lots of G.I. Joe stuff, you guys know that. Take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe video. Now let's get into this thing because I am definitely interested to see how these look. And at the end, when you see the pictures, yes, I will be doing some with the Hiss tank. All right, so this is how everything comes. And no, the Range Viper is not that much taller. They just staggered him a little bit differently. So if someone's going, oh my God, he seems so much taller, he actually is not. It does come with this thing. Again, Cobra Hiss Fire Team 788. The handle would be upside down. The 110 is upside down. 110. Again, they should have done with the Hiss. They got that right. We got 3 different baggies full of weapons that all fit directly in there. So, as you can see, they're back to using this plastic here. We're going to take our trusty snips and just snip right through them. This is the easiest way to do it, at least the easiest way that I have. I've used razor blades also. That's just kind of a pain. But again, if you got some trusty snips, there you go. Now, why there's no artwork on this, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make too much sense. But we get the figures out. Throw that over there. Let's wipe this up. And again, remember, take a second, hit that subscribe button. And again, if you've been following me on Instagram, new Instagram, apunk_with_toys, it should populate as you are typing it in. All right. So each figure here has its own accessories. I think there's going to be a little bit of a mixing and matching. So we'll go over the articulation on them. I think they're all going to be the exact same. Head that looks up, down, kind of moves back and forth. Now, this has not been out in the cold. He does not seem to want to move too much. So T-pose, his T-pose is not going up very far. Yep, he actually really just stops right there, unfortunately. So I don't remember if the Range Viper had that little range of motion. Pinless joints, double elbows. You have your Jean-Claude Van Damme, which doesn't go very far. He does move up and down because he has the ab crunch, side to side. Again, moves very freely, no issues there. So this is the same articulation that we have seen before. Again, I'm going through it really quickly since we have 3 of them, and you've probably seen it on most of my other videos. There's one figure. Here is the Cobra Infantry. Again, head moves up and down. Actually seems to get more of a range of motion. Back and forth, and side to side. T-pose. Pretty good there. Now, these are not pinless because this is working off the old mold of the Infantry and Cobra Island Trooper. You have the ab crunch. And the first thing you may not notice is that this overlay is different than this one. And we'll actually be looking at that. So it does move side to side. Great Jean-Claude Van Damme with the drop down hips. Again, they just kind of pop back up. Legs do move up perfectly fine. I kind of forget to show that. We got thigh swivel. And okay, so no pinless knees. Actually, I didn't think so. And then we also have the boot cut, ankle rockers. So, and then we have the Cobra Officer. So kind of do the same thing. Head moves back and forth, up and down. You can skip across this if you really don't want to know. I'm going to say right away, looking at this, there's your T-pose. I like these colors. They really do work. Again, non-pinless. You do have the ab crunch, and because of this overlay, it works really well. It does move side to side. Jean-Claude Van Damme with the drop-down hips. And then we got the pinned knees, thigh cut, boot cut, and ankle rockers. All right. So now we've gone over all of that. Let's go ahead and see what accessories we get. Now, these are all reused. So the first bag here is going to be for the... Oh, you know what? They just kind of mix and match them. So I kind of wasn't expecting that. So the first thing we're going to get is an all gray backpack like bazookas. Now, the missiles do go in like this. Technically, they seem to go in easier the other way, but if you remember, bazooka's backpack had the missiles sticking out this way. So the proper way is like this, not to mention the other way would probably be kind of dangerous considering the tip is what explodes and you don't want to be dropping it down and exploding. So, there we get the backpack here. Hopefully it will plug in nicely, and then it has the little latches underneath it, or the hooks, so you can put the bazooka there. Let's cut this bad boy open, and I'm only doing this because I think there might be some people that didn't order this. If it is sold out, they're waiting to order it now, or they're on the fence about it. So, here we have the Range Viper's machine gun. And looking at it here, it seems fairly sturdy. Let me grab this one here. And I'd say they're about the same diameter for the most part. Actually, they look pretty much the same. I would say the bullets on here are more like a darker gold than this one. But all in all, it looks pretty good. The gun is semi-straight. You definitely have to fix that. It's not too soft, like I said, but it does have a nice handle here. some nice designs for it. Obviously, a blast effect for the front of it. No paint apps. It's just all one color, and that is it. Other than the bullets. And yes, this does come out. So it plugs in here. As if you don't have a range viper yet. You're not really sure how it goes. So it does stay in pretty nicely. Ooh, alright. Then we have the grenade launcher. As you can see, this range viper is actually holding the grenade launcher. And we get bent right away. So again, this is super soft on the back. My biggest complaint, again, the durometer on these just, again, everything is very soft. It's not too bad. We've had worse, I believe. But again, I'm just not a fan of the stuff being this soft. Especially when you try and put this in here. This is going to move when you're trying to pose the figure, rather than it move across and kind of move the hand. I'd rather do that because it's more realistic. Now, I don't need things to be exactly realistic all the time, but that does bother me. And then you do have the grenades that would shoot out there. Now, there's probably some guy out there that probably think this is like a shotgun. It's not, and I know people already kind of complain, why do you have a scope? Again, it's G.I. Joe. Here we have the cartoon laser rifle that the Cobras used. Definitely seems fairly straight. Again, has some bend there, but not that bad. Magazine does remove. And the detail on it isn't bad. All these things really need a little bit of paint apps. They really do, because it sharpens it. So if you do some painting or customizing yourself, I think you'd probably want to just hit some stuff up. Again, you look at this here. The backpack looks really nice, but it's just everything being gray is just very dull. I mean, they should have at least made the rockets look a little bit different. We got one pistol here. Again, port for blast effects. Fairly straight. And I think this design looks really nice. It is fairly small, so if it's the same one that I have in the HISS tank with the Tactician, you know that it looks really small in his hand. Here is the Range Viper's pistol. Has the extended magazine. And as you can see, these are completely different pistols. Now, not completely. They're very similar molds. One has the extended magazine. Both have ports for blast effects. Now, I'm not a big fan of the blast effects that G.I. Joe has, that Hasbro uses. And I just lost his little knife. Alright, so here's the one paint app that we get. Makes it a silver blade. Again, these things are just kind of comical in many ways because it's just so thick. Again, I don't mind them not being, to the point where like a Valaverse weapon or a knife could literally break skin, or a NECA that when I'm squeezing it, it actually hurts. But maybe just a little bit different. Here's the Sai. I don't really understand why he has a Sai. Again, it's just kind of thick and it just looks wonky. I don't think I've ever really used the word wonky, but that's kind of how it comes off. The pickaxe. Again, this all goes to the Range Viper. It is flimsy, but it does stay straight. So again, I could deal with that, but I think we all want something to be a little bit harder. That's what she said. And then we get to the M4 with the 203, or some sort of grenade launcher. I think this weapon doesn't look bad, but it is very small. So it does cause some issues. Seems decent. Obviously, I can flex it, but it's not too bad. We've seen these. They come with the Snow Serpent. They've come with the Valkyries. They're coming with a lot of different Cobra figures. So it has a different type of stock here. It has the grenade launcher. They do have blast effects on both, but you really can't do too much with this here. Magazine does drop down, so there you go. I just would rather have a slightly bigger M4. This seems like it would make more sense. And again, normally I don't do stuff like this, but this is a little bit different. So make sure you get everything out of your bag, because there's a lot of stuff. And it's easy to throw stuff away, especially with all these little ones. Now, why this backpack comes like this. I don't really understand completely. But, so, all right, so this is the Range Viper's backpack. You can see it has what I'm going to assume are grenades for the grenade launcher. So he can use it. I wonder how... Yep, you can see it on this one too. Again, same colors other than the blue at the top. So, it does have a radio that unfortunately does not remove. A little bit of red paint app there. The grenades, I do believe they're grenades, are painted. And then you have this, which will plug into the back of his helmet. Ooh, I like these. These look nice. So here we have the Cobra Trooper helmet with 788 on the side. You gotta like that. Now looking at the paint, I don't see any issues. So that's good. It seems like they're getting some of this QC out of the way. Maybe there's some little issues there. It's hard to say. And then we have this one here. This is the Cobra Officer helmet. Again, 788 on the side. Paint looks pretty good. The chevron looks nice, and it does have black accents around it. We get the normal blast effects that we've seen on a few different figures now. The Viper 3-pack came with them. The Steel Core, I think, came with them. Here's another blast effect. You're going to put one right down there in the middle. We get the smoke effect. Now, this one I really do like. I don't mind this blast effect all that much. Again, this one actually looks nice. There's just no bullet. It really kind of looks more like a laser that's coming out. An ammo belt for the Range Viper. He does have a machine gun, so. This would be for the Cobra Officer. But I'm not sure what he's going to hold back there. Unless if this fits into it. Yes, maybe that would fit into it. Also, before I go too far, the scope here does plug into the back of the Range Viper, or at least it should. Plugs in the Range Viper so he can actually carry it. I think I forgot to mention that, or shall I say didn't really know. Here we have some laser effects. There's a little blue pill to go with the blue laser effect. Again, still seems like a little blue pill it needs. I did like this one because it's kind of like it's spraying. And I don't really mind the blue if you're going to say, hey, these are laser weapons. This is for the Range Viper. And then another blast effect that you can use for different types of things. It looks like that monster from the Upside Down world in Stranger Things. And then the last blast effects that we have, or last effects, whatever they are. I guess there's a few things in here. Oh yeah, the bazooka and the blast effects. So, unfortunately, a lot of people, you would have to buy multiple scrap irons if you wanted to have these blast effects. Well, now they're starting to give it to us, and that is because they actually work with the bazooka. So this just kind of plugs in, and you also can now use it with one of your bazookas figures, or you can have two missiles from scrap irons shooting at the same time at the same distance. So looking at this, the bazooka is really nice. I mean, it really is. It has padding on it that has the paint apt on it. Get this out of here. This piece is the only thing that I really hate, and this is the thing that's going to be worth money later on because people are going to lose this. So it's meant to turn so you can take the weapon here. The rocket, and you can drop it down in the back if you're doing pictures. And then you can also drop it in here. like it's firing. And then as the blast effect works, we'll take the small one, plug that in there. You see the port. Just plugs right on in. So you can use it for any of the bazookas. You can use it for Scrap Iron's drone or rocket launcher. All right. And we've seen most of this stuff. A matter of fact, I believe we've seen everything other than the overlay of the Cobra Trooper. So let's get to that right away because that's fairly interesting. So here is the new Fireteam Cobra Trooper compared to this one. So we'll grab his helmet. Just pops right on. Again, I think it looks really nice. And because the only place you're going to see red is up top here, you could do some swapping if you really want to. All right. But looking at this vest here, they made it completely different. There's no knives on it. There's no gun ports for it or gun holsters for it. Same with the back. It doesn't have a holster. Doesn't have the multi ports here. For the old style weapons, they had that big side, round bar that stuck out. But other than that, they're the same figures, just different colors. And I will say this, the red is completely different from the HISS drivers. You would think they would want them to be closer to the same, but I think it might work on my 3D printed HISS. So quickly, we'll take a look at this. And it does have some paint apps. You got a nice little grenade up there, a bunch of pouches that do look like they're painted. So these are actually painted black. It's hard to see. Pouch on the side. So everything looks pretty good with this figure. Now this is the one that's going to hold the bazooka. So we can throw this on here. Now the officer is supposed to have both of the weapons, both of the laser weapon and stuff. Definitely I'm not going to give that to him because, let's be honest, see how that fits? This guy needs something. Now I have so many weapons, I don't even know what to do with. People have sent me 3D printed weapons. I have so many Valiverse weapons. There's all these extra weapons with the Joe figures now. So I have more than enough that I don't even know what to do with them all. But we definitely want to take this guy. Oops. And I have a feeling we're going to have the same issue with this as we do with some of the other backpacks. They just don't stick on. So quickly we'll take a look at it. Got the nice black Cobra symbol. Paint looks good. The accents look really nice. This is the same body as this Cobra Infantry. And you got the red. Oops. You got the red rather than black. Black knee pads. The shin pads that really don't obstruct or cause any problems. And you find the laser weapon with this laser rifle. And no issues at all. So, I don't think we're going to have any hard time posing this. Going to have a hard time keeping this on. And that is, that is disappointing. I really wish they would make that better. They could have easily made the peg longer. I really think that they should have moved this down and moved the peg on the back down further so it's not sitting on his back where it's on an angle. But there is our Cobra Infantry. Now we'll grab our Range Viper. And I have to say, I really like this Range Viper more than I thought I would. This one, at least. So quickly, we'll see the differences here. So obviously, there's no emblem right there. Here you get the HISS tank. The pouches are a brighter red than the rest. You have the black that goes around there. You have grenades for the grenade launcher. So I guess he has multiple grenades, and they're actually a different size than that. So maybe those are shotgun shells, but he doesn't come with a shotgun, so that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. He's got the pouches on the side. Again, nice little paint apps. They put paint apps in really good spots, and then some in not such good spots. And we'll find the extended mag pistol that you can plop right down there. I think this one looks really nice. The boots, again, no issues with the paint apps. Everything looks good. So we've already seen these figures here. On the side, you have the Cobra Hiss emblem. Right? Yep. And you can actually read it. So it is actually written out there, which I do like, that they did a good job with that. On this side, you have 788. Did we have the same thing over here? Now see this here. Let's talk about pinless. This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So this is red here, because it's not pinless. You can see the pin. That should have been painted red on both sides. Now, because it's on both sides, you can kind of get away with it. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not gonna do pinless, that should have been painted red. Because, well, it's not like that on the inside. So that's the reason why they don't, because the pin is inserted after the paint is done. And it's not a QC issue. I know someone will probably say that. It's just a disappointing issue. Ugh. So, get this guy to stand like so. But looking at this guy's head, this guy looks very menacing. You got the red underneath there, the red eyes. He really has that red skull look to him. This is a helmet. It's not his brain sticking out. So if anyone is wondering that, no, it's not. It's not a skeleton. It's not a skull. It's just red. So we throw this over here. Let's take a look at this here. And find everything that we are supposed to armor him up with. So throw this up here. Oops, sorry, I hit that. And again, I know this is kind of boring, and doing 3 at once is kind of crazy. Now you have the ammo belt. It does look pretty good. Obviously, it has the paint down the middle. I don't think I really need to have this here. It may be something that I kind of do away with, but I can't say for sure because I have issues. And take his backpack. Now you can see how long that peg is, and again, if it was lower, it would fit better. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. So here, when you look at it, there's only so much. That peg isn't even going in all the way. They had to make it long just to fit to it. And then you have this hole on the back that it's going to plug into. So it's some sort of breathing apparatus. And you remember the range vipers come out in a pack that is meant to be looking for dark energon. So, and then we'll give the machine gun. And I know everyone hates that all these Joes are right-handed. Actually, in the beginning, a lot of them were left-handed. But one of the things that I have heard from military people and others is that one of the things they tell you right away is if you are left-handed and joining the military, learn to shoot right-handed. And that is because I believe every single gun ejects the casing out this way. So if you're left-handed, it'd be going into your face, and they can be extremely hot. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, so the SI. Oh yeah, SI. Total goes right down here. Again, I don't understand why he has this SI, or if it's supposed to be some sort of knife. It's just strange, is the best way to put it. But all in all, I really like this. It is a good-looking figure. So we're going to throw him right here. Actually, put him to the side here. And now we're going to look at the Cobra Officer. And I absolutely love the Cobra Officer. It was one of my favorite figures growing up. So here, they gave him a new color scheme. I am perfectly fine with it. And just looking at it, That paint looks really nice there. You have the red Cobra symbol. Now, you don't have any insignias. Now, again, as I talk about the pinless here, when he's all in blue, again, the blue may be a little bit different, but it's hidden. And again, the black there is probably a blue peg, but because of the way that it hits, you don't really notice. Oops. You don't really notice, which is nice. Here, I guess because it's so far, it's hard to tell whether it's painted or not, but I think it's actually black. So, but you do have some paint apps up here. Nothing too exciting. They get a little bit of paint app right here. See, there's things you don't notice when they have all black gloves. You have the Cobra insignia. He definitely is wearing some sort of gauntlet, the same as this one right here, which I was actually grabbing the wrong figure. So let's kind of start all over. Well, we're not going to start all over. So what we actually do have here is this the Cobra officer, but I believe it's actually this figure. So we're going to move the Cobra officer back here. It's actually this Python Patrol, because the Python Patrol officer here has the same style gauntlet, obviously painted a different color. And it has a different paint scheme in the front. But everything else is the same as this Cobra officer. So it's kind of a mix and match. It is not the new Cobra officer. It is the old Python Patrol version 1. Again, very confusing because they have two Python Patrol officers rather than Trooper. But he does have the chevron that we'll throw on up here. So he is different than the Cobra officer. And then bring him back here. But the paints here look really nice. You got the nice gray. And again, there are some other companies that make some really nice figures that the color scheme would go really well with these. I'm just going to say that. All right. Here we have the pistol on the side. I will say this pistol is better than the pistol that comes with the Cobra officers. Because those ones come with these stupid Luger style / Han Solo style. I just can't stand them. I'm really not sure if you're ever going to use this, unless you want to throw that M4 in the back. But right now we're not going to. We're going to arm him with this weapon. And again, like I said, it is too small, in my opinion. Now, yes, there are weapons that are this small. I just think the M4 of this style, at least, should be a little bit bigger. I'm sure someone would disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. But as you can see, this one just comes off kind of small. And I don't have a problem with smaller weapons. Like I mentioned that before. I don't have a problem with smaller weapons, but you'll save some of them for the females. This here should be just a little bit longer. I mean, it looks like it shrunk down for like a 5-inch figure. That's how I see this. But again, everything else looks pretty nice, and it's not a bad looking weapon. So here are your figures. I forgot to throw this on the Range Viper. A little neckerchief. We'll throw right there. Again, these all have their blast effects. Pop this thing right on here. So you can see how they actually look while they're firing. Now, let's grab the Ron Rudat, his tactician. And again, you have the shiny red, which is what I would assume would be. Your shiny, your shiny little, whatever this is called, armor plating. Now, the gray and the black, none of it really matches. This black is all shiny. This gray is a different Pantone than the rest of the figures. So you would think that they would have made it, since this is the 788 Fire Team, that it would fit with this. Now, this makes me think that when you get the SMS or MMS with the Techno Viper that comes with that, you're going to get this paint scheme. So it also kind of makes me think that when they redo, if they do make another HISS tank or when they do another HISS driver, it's not going to be shiny like this. It's going to be this dulled out red, dulled out black. Just my personal opinion, but that's kind of what I see going on here. I don't think they look bad. I just think that you did everything to make it go with the HISS tank. Why wouldn't you do the color scheme to work together? That is a misstep in my personal opinion, but I could be completely wrong. Everyone may say, hey, you know what? Lawrence, you're an idiot. All right? That's the reason why you lost your Instagram, because you're stupid. And hey, you know what? Maybe you're right. But here it is. Again, I do think they look nice. I don't have a problem with the color, but it just doesn't make sense. But the faces are this shiny black. Same with the helmets. That goes with it. There's certain things that just make sense, and there's certain things that just don't make sense. And I understand when you're going for the HISS driver, you want it to be classic, but the Ron Rudat there, the grays aren't even the color scheme. So anyway, there it is. That is the 788 Fire Team. Let's wrap this up. All right, so one of my first final thoughts on this pack is I think it's really good in many ways. In other ways, they kind of missed the point. And the point is, if it's the Fire Team for the HISS tank, why are they completely different reds and grays and black? It should be the same unless you're planning on doing something down the road with other color HISS tank, because they know not everyone got the HasLab. I've gone over these blast effects. I'm not a big fan of all of them. Some of them are decent. Some of them are okay. Obviously, the rocket blasts are awesome. It works great with scrap iron, and it works great with the bazooka. Yes, they are reusing stuff. I like the fact that they redid the troopers, or the infantry's vest, but again, good. Still should have been a lower price point, but all in all, if you like it, pick it up. It is going to go with the HISS fairly decent. All right, so that's it. That is the 788 Fire Team, or Fire Team 788. I don't know. It's really weird. Anyway, I like the figures. I like the color scheme. I just don't understand why it's not the exact same. But again, Hasbro has done weird things like this to us. That's all that I can say. It's not bad. Do I think the price should have been lower? Yes, I've already talked about that. Do I think it's going to go much lower? Probably not, because it is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. So you're not going to get it from Amazon or BBTS or Entertainment Earth or anywhere like that you're going to get it at a lower price. So if you want it, this is the best time to get it if they have it available, and I'm sure it will come. It will come again. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. And let me mention once again, if you're on the socials, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know you got to change it. It is a punk with _toys, because some D-bag, I'm not going to get into it. Watch Monday Night Live, Toy Ramblings. I'll probably get into it there for a little bit at least. So anyway, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, a punk with toys other than Instagram, which is a punk with _toys. That's going to piss me off. Just going to say that. Then, Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And last but not least, you stuck this long. It's taken this long to get through it. Take a second, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe video. And I only got one more throughout the year, and that's that HISS driver that I still haven't even gotten to. But there's reasons for that. So anyway, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. You stayed this long. But what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to drop that retro-carded Cobra Commander link right here. And here's the playlist of all the classified figures I've done, which is every single one of them. Take care.